Hello everyone, I am so happy to be here. I'm happy that you're here. So let's get cracking. We want to start a mini journal, but when we build it, we have to think of we have to think ahead of what we want our journal to have, what kind of little special hidden secret or pocket. So I'm going to show you how I go about it, and we'll see how far along in the video we can actually go. And if we can't move ahead too like enough, I'll just make a series out of it, because I know I can't do one journal in one go. Especially, I mean, unless the video lasts 3 hours, and I really don't think anyone wants to sit here for 3 hours. So what we're going to do is we're going to determine the size of our journal. So I know I want to make a mini journal. I love this paper. It's the handmade deckled paper. I'm fairly certain I put it in my description box, and if not, I'll try and think about it. Okay, so I know that this is about, I think this is about 6 wide by 8 or something. Yes, exactly that, 6 by 8ish. Okay, so what I want is, I would like this to be the height of my pages. So I will just simply fold this in half. I think this height is beautiful for a mini journal. It's small, but it still allows you some creativity. So I will just fold it twice, and then I will just rip it with my tear ruler. You can cut it if you don't feel at ease ripping it. Just like that. There's going to be a lot of ripping. Okay, so this will be the height of my journals. And I want each page to measure 2 inches. This is 8 inches, which means I will fold this in half. Just like that. The reason I fold it twice is just for a better, like an easier ripping of the page. And I will just cut this right here. So this is a page of my journal, because these will be folded in half. Just like that. See, this is what the journal size will be when we're done. Isn't it cute? It's not too big, not too small, and you can work in it. I know some of you said, oh, I can't work my fingers in very small things. That's why I made it a little bigger. I have one that's extra mini. And I know it can be hard, but I think this, especially when the pages are open, gives you enough space to do something, even for fingers that have a tiny bit more trouble with smaller things, okay? But again, this is my journal, so that's the size I decided on. You don't have to do this size, clearly. So I will keep going with the folding and ripping of pages in fast forward, of course, because you don't need to sit through all of this. And I'll be right back when it's done. Okay, so now we have all the pages for our little journal. In this case, this journal will be built like a book. So build your journal with a plan. your journal or your mini books, it's all the same. It just depends on the binding. This one will look like a book, but technically it's a little journal. Okay, so you have to build with intent. So for instance, you need to decide the size of it. We decided on this size. You need to decide on the kind of binding. Will you do a kettle stitch? Will you do a pamphlet stitch where you put everything inside and do your pamphlet stitch? Will you do a tab binded, or will you do a mini book binding, which is what we're going to do today, like we've done 2 weeks before, 2 weeks ago. However, in this instance, I'm showing you how to think ahead to plan your book or journal. So I have the intention, like I said, to put this book or this journal as a book binded journal. So we will glue pages together this way, and then we'll do other things. You'll see as we go. But I need to plan ahead, and I do want one of the pages to have a nice little window. I think it'd be cute and different. I have to plan for it in advance. So here's how I'm going to plan. I will make a window right away. Do I decide on a square window, a round window? I mean, I could simply draw a circle and cut around it. If you have a die cutting machine or a frame maker, you can certainly put it in and make your window like that. I might use my die cutting machine. Now for me, I just decided on using the die cutting machine because I have it, and why not? However, I'm just going to show you what I did earlier because I do have another one on the go. I decided on a circle that I handmade myself. And no, this is not the one we're going to make. This one is covered in the back, but you'll see. So I just wanted to show that if you don't have a die cutting machine, don't let that stop you. Just do the method about, drawing your shape and cutting it, okay? So before we keep going, we need to decide what we're going to put in that journal. And these are all steps for you to think of. Like I said, the size, the binding, what kind of style you want. So we'll decide that as we go along, or you can decide now. Mine will probably be my usual soft, maybe a tiny bit of very, very, very slight, very barely grungy. But I want to put a lot of creams and whites and such because I'm in that mood right now after buying a few things from Taperology, and I want to use them. So I want to use this image in the window. I think it would look lovely. And I don't know if I'll use it this way. Let me see what it would look like. Oh yes, it's very pretty. I also have this one, but I think I cut too close to the plastic. And yeah, it won't. I don't think I'll have enough space to glue it, or I would. Ooh, wait now. It's very, very close to the edge. I really do like it, just like the other one. It would be lovely. Let me think. I also just found this one. I really love it. It's bigger, but if I do it like this, then we'll show most of it. I kind of like the idea of that. Yeah, I like it. I think I'm going to use this one. So if you don't have that, you can certainly put, for instance, which I've done before, I would cut digital paper that I purchased, and it would be like butterflies, let's say. Actually, I'm thinking of maybe leaving it just like that, of butterflies, and I would have two of the same and put them back to back so that the image is clear on both sides. Or I would use washi stickers because they allow to see the image on the other side. So when you flip your page, you don't have just, a backing that doesn't make sense. You have the image yet again, just in a lighter shade. I think that's very interesting. Okay. But in my case, I do have these because I make them myself, so I will use exactly this one. So we will put double-sided tape on the edge of this window, and then we will glue our image. Wait, now I think I'm making a mistake. Let me think for a second here before I ruin everything. Okay, just because I realized I was going to make a mistake, I stopped myself, which is also part of the planning. So remember, I want this to be one of the pages. It just so happens that it will have a window in it. So of course I can't do this because then these two pages are inside each other. We don't want that. All you need to do in this particular case is fold it the other way, because we made our window in it, just like you might have cut a circle or whatever shape you decided on, because these two will be glued together. Okay, that's all you need to remember. So if you cut squares, rectangles, circles, triangles, hearts, whatever it is, just remember to take the second page and just fold it backwards so that you can glue them together. So now I will apply the double-sided tape and it will be all good. Okay, oops, let me grab some. So I will glue my image first on this one. Whoops, it's okay. The glue will serve the purpose of gluing the page together afterwards, so it doesn't matter that it's not straight. There we go. There we go. Okay. And you'll understand when I keep going with this journal what I mean by planning your journal or book. Like I said, this is technically a journal, but it's just going to be in the shape of a book. It's just, just a way of calling it. But we're working with paper is what we're doing here, ladies and gentlemen. So I will put this image right here. I like it. Now I will put double-sided tape around the image. Just like that. I keep losing the beginning of this. Every time I cut a piece. Oh, there it is. Okay. And try and stay close to the edge of the window. And the reason is you don't want a gap. You don't want, let's say, this to not be glued here and have a gap. You don't want that. It's dangerous for ripping your journal or your page later on with all the manipulation, So you better just glue the image really tight to the frame first. Okay, so we're going to take the tape off first. Like that. Or the backing of this, I meant. Like that. No, the tape wants to come with it. It happens. Okay, and now I'm going to add glue to the rest of it because we want both pages to glue together and not just the frame or, close to the frame. We want the whole thing to glue together. There. I'm just going to unfold this to avoid a mess. And I'm going to glue this to that. And I'm going to align the frame more than anything else. And I'll explain to you why in a second. I think you already know, but because what matters most is the frame. We want that to be perfect. Here, it's all fuzzy anyways, and that's the beauty of ripping the paper instead of cutting it, is if you make it a slight mistake, you don't see it with all the fuzz. So that allows for some wiggle room. Okay, and now we have this. This will be one of our pages. Isn't that just absolutely gorgeous? So now we're going to start gluing our pages together to create this book. And as we go along, I will show you other things you need to plan for and other ideas. Because like I said, you need to plan. If you don't plan, well, this would not exist in this beautiful little book journal. And I'd be disappointed that I didn't think of it before I glued everything together. So try and align your back more than anything else, because we will use the back for our type of binding. Since I'm using the book binding method, I need the back to be even. And again, because it's all deckled page and I ripped instead of cutting, if it doesn't align, nobody will ever see. Look at this, it's all fuzzy, it's magnificent. So this will be the beginning, and you flip and you flip, and ooh, surprise, it will be the beginning or the middle, I'm not sure, depending on where I choose to glue the other pages. So let's glue another regularly, in just like no special way, and then I'll show you another special thing we can do. It's always better to plan. And okay, so I think this will be regular, and then I'll make a one with a little surprise, just to change it up. There. So this is a regular one, another regular, and then you have this. Okay, so I want this one to be a pocket. I want it to be a side pocket, so I will only apply glue on 3 of the edges, just like that. So if you plan ahead, just like we're doing, your little book or journal will have so much little surprises. It'll be so interesting. So I'm only gluing these 3 sides, and this, of course, we just left it with no glue right here. I don't want to open it too much because I know it's not dried yet, but our pocket is right here. Okay, and actually I will do a little semicircle just to show people that they should pay attention here. They might be a little surprise for them. So I will go ahead with, oh, I think this is broken though. Maybe I'll choose another one. I have another one right here. I broke my punch, I forgot about that. Okay, let me find my little pocket. Hold on. So I'll just do a tiny little, just a little notch to say, you, look here, there's something there. So now when we flip the page, we'll say, oh, what's this? And you'll probably see anyways the piece of paper coming out. Okay, so now we have this. So how about we glue something here? So we will keep normal here as well. You're a little too close. I had to put you closer earlier, but I think I can back up now. There we go. So now we already have a side pocket. We have a window, which is absolutely gorgeous. So I will align myself with the back more than anything else. There, that is pretty nice. I like it. Okay, now the next one, how about we do a top pocket so we could put a beautiful tag? Isn't that a good idea? So, and that's why you plan, so that you don't glue everything and say, oh, I wish I would have thought of that. Well, now you do. You can write the steps down, you know, you can easily just plan your journal. Say, I want a journal, I want it this size. Then I want to add pockets. Then I want to add a window. Then I want it to be in this style. And the kind of binding I want is this. Because that way, before you even start cutting into paper, you can look at your plan and say, oh yeah, that's right, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And then you really just follow your own plan, you know? Yeah, oh, I love this. I'm just making sure the pages are not stuck together. Oh yeah, and that's our top, well, where's the opening? There it is. It's just that it's gluing right now on the side. I don't want it to open up, so I'm just going to press down real good. But that's our little pocket here to put a tag. Oh, it's going to be so lovely. Okay, so the next one will also be just a regular one. And again, that's just, you know, the way I've decided about it today, but you can decide otherwise. Like this. Just going to align myself with the back. Perfect. Now for the next page, you can use, you know, variations. Oops, it's not glue, is it? I have to maybe be a little more patient. Let me just make sure it's glued properly. So the next one I want to do is I would like for another surprise, and I thought of doing this so that this is folded this way and this way. So in order for us to do that, we will do some tab binding. So I will use this. However, this is fabric tape, but it's not very sticky at all. Like I cannot believe how not sticky this is. So I will just cut, and you'll see in a minute what I mean. I can take it off anytime. It doesn't stick. So I will add glue. Okay. If you don't have that, you can certainly use a piece of paper, because as you can see, it's pretty much the same thing. Just use good paper, because with folding and unfolded, it might get damaged, whereas fabric will still hold on pretty tight. So I will glue this here, and I will flip this around and do the same thing on the other side. So I will just measure like this, because like I said, I can easily take it off like that. And I chose something light. It could be a piece of lace, if that's your vibe, if you're doing something very soft. This is not too dark, so I chose that. Maybe washi tape. Make sure it's good sticky one though, because the same thing as this one that I'm doing right now with this fabric tape will happen. And there we go. So now on this page, which was this way, you can or do this way and have it open this way, but I don't want to. I want this to be just like it was, a normal page, but you unfold and then you say, oh. So what I'm going to do, so just so it folds easily, I'm just going to push back this fold a tiny bit. And you could have done that before you glued it in. It's just, I didn't see that it would matter too much, and it doesn't. So I'm just going to refold this a little bit towards the inside, so that when I do close, I don't want it to come out too much. Now this might be a little too long. So what I'm going to do, fear not, I will cut it a tiny bit, just a tad, and then I will rough it up, because I do want it to have that deckled feel, just like the rest of the journal. Some of you have that special tool to do it. I don't. So I just use scissors, and I gently rough up the edge of it. Just like that. There, it doesn't show. Okay, so now we have the regular page, but it hides this fold. See, you can see it here, just like that. So now we have this, we have our side pocket, we have our beautiful window page, then we have, I think that's where the top one is. Let me see. Yep. I'll make a little notch here as well, so we don't lose track of it, or sight of it, I think the word would be. Just a tiny thing to say, look here, there's something for you. Oops, we're at the beginning. Okay, and then regular page, and then this one unfolds, so you could maybe decorate the whole inside, leave this for writing, do a bigger decoration. It's really up to you. Okay, so now we're going to fold it, because we have to keep going with a regular page. So regular page it is. I'm just going to glue the whole thing. There we go. And again, I'm going to align myself with the back. So this is just to give you idea that if you plan, and you can write it down so you don't forget, you get carried away while you're crafting and say, oh goodness, I forgot. If you have a plan, you can simply follow it. Okay, I really like where this is going. I like it a lot. We have this, and then you're, oops, I'm ungluing what I just did, aren't I? Let me put glue again. I'm too excited. going to make sure it's glued well. So we have regular page and probably another regular. Can't have too many surprises because you have to also account for the fact that you will, if you decide to decorate, you might leave it blank. It depends what your intent is. Your intent is with the book. Is it going to be a junk journal? Is it going to be like a little notebook you're offering somebody so they can write in? So is it going to be heavily decorated, lightly decorated? That's really, up to you. But if you are going to decorate it even more, you do have to account for that fact because it will get thicker. And now the last page, I want to see if I want to add another, maybe pocket this way, or let me see. Do I want a pocket in the end? At the very end of this? Yeah, why not? I like the idea of making a mini mini how do you say it, journaling card. I like the idea of mini anything. So the mini tag we have to make, now we have to make another mini journal card. I like the idea, So only the 3 sides have glue. That's perfect. I'm going to align myself, make sure it's all nice and glued. And of course I will make a semicircle right here to show that there is something to grab here, just like that. Okay, so now the base of our journal is done. We planned for it, we knew where we were going, and we added this tape here to have an outside fold. I really like it. You know what, it's actually quite good that I did that in the end, because look, we had one right from the start. So I didn't even think about that. The window, and then we have the top one right here, and we have this surprise. Ta-da! I like it. And now at the very end we have another pocket, just like the beginning. See, I didn't plan on that. It's a happy little surprise. So now we're going to bind the book itself. So this method I showed, like I said, 2 videos ago. It was very successful. I think I've alleviated a lot of the stress for many of you about making a mini book by doing this type of binding. It allowed you to think, oh goodness, I can make a book too. Yes, you certainly can. You absolutely can. So you're going to cover the back with glue, just like that. And yes, I put a lot, but I will go like this with my finger. Make sure that every page has glue, is what I'm trying to do. Okay, perfect. Now I will put these right here because it will squeeze it, and I will let it dry. Personally, I usually let it dry. Actually, I don't know. I've never really calculated, but a long time. I just want to make sure it's super dried. However, we don't have to stop. We can build the top of our book, journal, whatever you decided to do today. Okay? So now while this is drying, since we did plan and we did decide on making this a little mini book, we can do the cover. So I think I want this paper because it's extremely soft, grungy, and I want a lot of creams, a lot of whites, a lot of see-through transparency, because we're not done here. Don't think that, oh well, the journal is done, I'm just going to stop the video now because all she's going to do is decorate. Not really. Yes and no, I would say on that, because let me find my papers. Now, when I said plan on your journal, that's one thing I didn't plan. I wanted to add some transparent pages to this journal, and I didn't. That being said, it doesn't mean I will not include these. Look at, maybe I can show you better on this. I'm trying to see which way you're going to see better. It's embossed papers. It's vellum, and I did it myself. But I also bought some from Tapology as there was like a Christmas package, and I made some more and some in creams. Like, we're going to have a lot of fun integrating all kinds of delicate, beautiful addition to this journal. So yes, technically decorating, but there might be more to it than just that. I think I have another little surprise I want to put in this journal just to make it more interesting. So we know our journal or book, depending on what you did, like I said, in my case, it is 2 inches wide by 3 inches tall, just about. So I think I will use this because I know my journal will fit in it. Sometimes what I do is, let me find the other one I started that I showed you just a minute ago when I wanted to talk about, hold on, where is it? Okay. It's the same exact size, so I will use this. But if this was dry, I could use this one, but I'm just going to use this one for now. I didn't know I glued it together. That's strange. Okay, so I will cut this out, and I think after that, after I measure, I will probably cut it with my ruler. I don't know. I'll see if I want it to be straight or deckled just like the rest of the journal. So I will just cut around this for now because I know this is too big anyways. So there's no need to be too careful. I know I have plenty in just this piece of paper for the whole cover. Of course, I could go with fabric. I'm just choosing this today. Just going to keep these two close by. I really like the feel and the color, and I might use them if they're not too big. We'll see. We'll see where we're going with this. So all you have to do really is you can just decide to wrap your paper around like this and measure and cut, and it automatically leaves you enough space for your spine. Okay, so but I want to know where I want, what I want to see in the front, although I know it will be decorated so much that we might not even see the beautiful paper in the back. That's just how it goes, right? I do like this. I'm wondering if it's too dark. I do like that for the back. I like everything. Let's not kid ourselves. Or do I have enough to go this way? Ooh, I might. Now that's interesting. Oh yeah, because now this could be in the back, this could be in the front, or maybe lighter in the front and this in the back. So many possibilities. Let me see. So the important thing is leave yourself a tiny bit of space, because you know how the pages of a book are always a little bit inside, but not too much, because you don't want this to get damaged with time. So I would go probably, let me see, better have too much than not enough, and then you can always adjust. I think that's not enough, so I will move it a tiny bit here. Let's see how well this wraps around. Too close. Too close. Let's move it a tiny bit. Okay, I think this is too much, but we'll see more when we actually cut it. So where is my pencil I had? Right here. So I will cut just about here, and for the top I will leave myself just about this. Yes, so I will cut here and here. I don't know if this is too big for my cutter. Oh, I think it fits perfect. So I will align myself with the top here, just like that, and with this side. I know I said at first I might do the deckled edges, but I think I'll stick with this for now. Now I know this might be still a little too big. I have this one I could probably use if I change my mind, or maybe on the other book I showed you, this one. So let's see. Oh yeah, and the back would look like this. I really like that. Okay, I like it. It's a little too, let me see, it's a little too big here. So I will make a line, just maybe just here. And I will trim also the edges. I think that's also a little too long. But see, it's better to adjust yourself. Plus, you have to make sure that you're measuring with the right book. Like this one is, let me see if it's the same thickness. Just about. So it should be okay. I'm measuring with pretty much the same. Like that. And I noticed it was a tiny bit too long also here. And a tiny bit too long here. I think this should be good. I will round the corners. Although I might add metallic corners on this journal. We'll see. Oh, this was already rounded. Okay, well, I don't like that it's not the same. Yeah. Not sure how I feel about that. We'll see when this is dry, and I'll come back to show you. And we will do the cover, and I might show you a few of the surprises I intend for the inside. Also, before I go any further, so I have readjusted and it's all good. I like it. I just cut a little more because I had too much anyways, and I will put metallic corners on this one, but this is not super thick and I want my cover to be more solid. So I took a piece of paper, doesn't matter what color because we're not going to see it, and I just made sure to measure properly. I made lines, and now I will cut, and that will be the inside so that the outer cover is stronger. So if you find your paper is too thin, just reinforce it with whatever you have or on hand. This was like construction paper, so it's not super thick, which is perfect, and it will bend easily when it's glued to this one, but we won't see it. So it doesn't matter if it's checkered or white, black, it really doesn't matter. As long as you cut it the exact same size as your outer cover, you'll be fine. And even if it's like a tad smaller, if you don't want to risk it. See, all we see on this one, I don't know if you can see, is the corners, which will be rounded because I cut it the exact same size. Okay, so, or before you even cut this, you could have glued two pieces of paper together to make it thicker. In my case, I just realized it afterwards, so I wouldn't have been able to plan for it since I just discovered that this is a little too thin to my likings. Okay, I will, so this is the outside, so you can put the glue on the inside. It's pretty, but we won't see, and we wouldn't have seen the inside anyways. A lot of times when I buy, the reason it's inside, it's also, you know, nice and not just white, is because a lot of times when I buy digital papers, or if I make them, I also put or make backings so that the pages are not white. And in this case, I printed double-sided so that the inside would not be just white. And because I had the intentions on, you know, we would probably see it. And so use liquid glue when you do this part, if you can, so that you can wiggle around and make sure that everything is flush if you don't want us to see the layer that you're adding. If you don't mind, or if it's a decorative paper that will just enhance the overall beauty of your journal and you don't mind to see a tiny bit, then you can certainly even leave some out if you want. But in this case, I'm just using it so that my journal is a little stronger. Now, that being said, we might still see some depending on how flush the paper gets, but it'll just be a black border in this case, and it will just look really nice. I could have chosen flowers. Again, it really depends on how much you think will be seen. Okay, so now as you can see, this is a lot stronger, and this I trust to make the outer layer of this little mini book. Okay, so a few minutes have passed because I did have to pause, and so now this is dry, super great. Okay, let's glue it to our cover. So if you are doing this with fabric, I'm sure you know how to do it. If not, I have videos on that as well. But for now, today, we're doing this in the simplest way. Just want to see. Yeah, there will be a black border showing, but in this case, I don't mind, like I said. Just want to see how much of it, and then maybe I'll trim a little more, but I think so far this is looking pretty good. I like how, do you see that? I like how there's just a tiny bit of space, top and bottom, and that is actually perfect. So I'm just going to press down here. Let me see here. It's like I'm scoring, but I'm not. I'm just doing it with this. And then I can score afterwards if I feel like it. But right now I just want to make sure of how I feel about the whole, how do you say? Fit. Yes. Okay. Now I'm going to make sure which way is upside. Oops. Where's the middle? The one with the window. Okay, so this is the right side up. This is the front. This is the back. So this is the front. Okay. Well, I must say I really like it just like that. And it's solid enough. I'm not too scared of, you know, I like it. I like it exactly like that, actually. So I will myself score the inside just for a better fold. I don't need this. When you don't want a pencil, one falls right from the sky, isn't it? Okay, so I pretty much see all the creases, so it's just a matter of making them tiny bit deeper. Same thing on this side. There. Just to make it an easier fold, cleaner one, you know. I like it. Okay, so now that this is done, super easy to finish, you know, this layer anyways. You just have to glue it like that. So see, mine will have a black border on the inside, and as I've said, I don't mind, but if you want to keep it softer, you can certainly put a more flowery paper and whatever you choose. But in this case, I think I like it with the black. I thought I wouldn't at first. I kind of thought, oh, maybe I should have put flowers, you know, or because a lot of it is showing a little more than what I thought, but I'm okay with it. So I'm going to put glue here, because if I put it everywhere here, obviously there's going to be glue where there's no paper, because the paper is a little shorter. So always try and glue the shorter part of your project, so you don't put glue in spots where there's nothing to glue. So I will glue this first piece right here, just like that. And then I will go ahead and do the same here. Just like that. I don't know why I put so much glue. So I want to go this way because I want the same distance here than here, and I'm thinking I'm not going to get that unless I really, there. Do you see what I did here? And I'll explain to you why in a second. Okay, so I wanted the same distance between this and this, and here there's like nothing, there's like emptiness, and that's okay with me because I feel like this journal might get a little thicker as we go, and I wanted to have some space. Just want to make sure everything is glued. Just gonna go this way again, just like that. Just gonna give it a second to actually set. Okay, so before we even continue, I just ordered these. I really love them. I'm going to try and link them in my description box. I often put corners on my books, and these come in 4 different colors. It's really nice. I'm only wondering, whoops, which color to use actually. I like it. Rose gold is really beautiful. I call it rose gold, but maybe it's copper. Oh, I love it so much. I love them all. Let's see this one. Oops. This one is more, how do you say? Actually, it fits perfectly, but I'm wondering if I want some bling like this. I love them all, but for this one, I think I'm going to go with these ones. So I need 4. There we go. Oh, I love them. I had others. Let me see here. Yeah, these ones. I have gold, and I think it's just gold and this color. So let's see. I like the little ones for little books. Really, I don't know if you can see that. But for today, I don't know. I want to go with the bigger ones. I really love them. So I'm going to go with the bigger ones. I have even bigger ones. These ones. But these I really keep for when I make very thick journal covered with fabric and such, where you really can't help but have good corners if you want to protect your book or your journal. So I'm just going to put these back. My goodness, while I was trying to put everything back, I just realized I have goodies here that I would really, really love to play with. Look at this. Look at these. Oh, they're so beautiful. I also got those at Taperology. Oh, look at this. Wouldn't that be beautiful on such a small book? Oh my goodness, this is like becoming a jewel on its own. Okay, for now, let's just keep going with what we were doing. And yeah, this book is going to be absolutely gorgeous. So I'm just going to put these on. I'm going to show you how I do the first one and then fast forward for the others, because many of you have seen how I do it. But for those of you who are new, I have quite a few new subscribers. I don't always want to reference another video for you, so I'll show you how I do the first one. So what I do is I put glue inside, because it is paper, and I think it just adds an additional protection against sliding off. I'm sure you don't have to do that. And then I go very gently, very slow. I push down a tiny bit, then push down a tiny bit here. Then I go back and forth like this until I feel the corner is solidly, stuck to the page. But you want to go slow, because if you press too hard, what's going to happen is the corner will kind of open up, and in the end, it won't really be a corner. And you don't want to, change the shape of it, is what I mean. Maybe I put a little too much glue. But you have to really go gentle, just a tiny bit at a time, making sure you're tightening it up around your journal. Maybe next time I'll put a little less glue. And there we go. So now you have one, and it's still a corner. Otherwise, what happens sometimes is they'll open up, and then they're not as pointy. It's not a real corner anymore. So just a tiny bit of glue. Oops. And now I'll fast forward for the other ones, because the other ones is just the same concept. Okay, so the corners are dry, and now I just I just feel like I want this to be a little softer. And yes, I did do this upside down, even though I double checked with you. But when I talk, I get distracted. And yeah, now this is the front. But regardless whether this or this was the front, I feel like I want to add these papers because I find them beautiful. I made them myself. I passed them through the embossing machine, and it's the same deco paper as the pages are made of. So I'm just going to rip a piece and see how I feel about it. Oh my goodness, look how beautiful this would be. I don't want it to cover the whole thing, just part of it. And maybe I could have waited until I put these. But again, it's okay that there's some, you know, how do you say? The background is still showing. I just don't want it to show as much. So let me just take a little measure here with a pencil, or maybe I'll just fold it. So maybe, yeah, I'll cut this part. So I had another idea actually. I thought of cutting this really clean, not with the deckled edges, and just rounding the corners and see how it looks. I might not add it. I just really like the embossed papers. Oh, this is nice. I also need a title. Something. Oh, I like this. This is going there. I'm just thinking of something. Okay, so my other idea, you're a little far from the camera, from the image. Yeah, you see, that's what happens. As you add things, as you glue things, you get more and more idea. That's why the base, at least, you need to plan for it. And now I'm thinking, maybe that's a little too big, but something like that to add a bit of softness. But I think this is too, is it too long? And I don't know, just let me see. I just want a tiny bit to show, you know? And this is a tiny bit too wide and a tiny bit too long. I'm not sure if I can trim something so small, but let's try. Well, it's working on this way. The other way, on the length, I'm not 100% sure, but we won't know until we try. Oh, it worked. Okay, so let's see. If I go like this, see what I mean? It just adds soft edges, just like the deco paper does inside the journal. And then I would do something like this. Oh yes, look at that. Isn't that nice? Oh, I love it. Let's do that. Now, isn't that just sweet? I might move the fabric just a tiny bit towards the top, just like that. And then just like that. See, you don't see a whole lot of it, but you see enough that you see that you know the fabric is underneath. And that's exactly the effect I was looking for. I really, really love this. And we have this piece here, and we have other pieces, but I'm thinking maybe not in the back, but maybe a part of it. Maybe just a part of it somewhere, but we'll figure out the back a little later on. There are still a few, or at least one or two things I want to plan before we start decorating, and these things I feel need to be done, although they could probably be done while we're doing the journal, but I think it'd be nice to think ahead. So let me just grab a piece of paper. So a very cute little addition to put in a journal, I find, just like the one here that unfolds this way. I also would like to add, maybe, let me see which page I could use. Maybe this one. This one doesn't have anything special. I like to add other things. So for example, we could easily glue this right here. So first I'll glue this part here, or maybe I will first fold it. That would make more sense. So I will fold it like this, and like this. Okay, I like that. Now we will glue this part, so I'll use double-sided tape for this. Why not? Now for the next part, we'll see if I use the wax seal, or if I just use, I don't know, it could be any kind of anything really. Is my goodness, the options are so many. Actually, I'm just going to put another piece of double-sided tape just to make sure it's glued on really well, just like that. And we're going to place this somewhere. Where's my other piece of glue? Actually, just like that, so that when it's completely folded, it's not hanging from the journal, the book, just like that. And now here we can glue, I don't know, should we do this, or let me see, maybe I have a nice little shape I could put there. Hold on. I think I'm just gonna go with this because again, it has this embossed effect I really love, and I want to see that throughout the journal. I want this journal to have all kinds of textures and interesting things. So I'm folding it in half just to make it a little stronger. Like this is pretty strong, and I want this to be stronger. Also, I will just make sure my folds here are really well folded. I could have gone a little straighter, but it's not really a big deal because it won't show once I put this on. Now, as an added little decoration, I'm going to add, what could I add? Let me see here. Oh, we're just gonna pretend that this is held on by a little fastener, but it's not. We're just putting it there to add some cuteness. That's really all it is. And it gives you an idea of where to stop the glue. You'll see. So I'm just going to put this right here, and it adds metal. There's metal on the corner of this little book, and it makes everything look so pretty. So I will put some glue here, just like that. There we go. And I will glue it right here. I think that gives me enough space. I could put it a tiny bit lower there, just like that. That should be enough. We're gonna wait till it dries. Okay, so now that it's pretty dry, see, this acts as if it was holding the whole thing, but it's not, because we know we put glue behind this. Actually, maybe I'll put some glue here just to make sure that it doesn't move, or that people don't try and pull it thinking, you know, everything lifts up. So I'm just going to put some glue here. So this is another addition that's really fun, because you unfold it and you can write there, and you could put a little message here if you wanted. It's really up to you. Then you fold it and you just put it underneath, and it tucks right in. Isn't that cute? So of course, this you don't really have to plan before you make the journal, but it's nice if you think about it, because it makes your work a lot easier if you have some sense of direction of where you want to take this journal. So I have this little pocket here, remember? So this is really small. I think we could do something really sweet before we end this video, and I'll have to come back because I have plenty other ideas, but this video is already taking quite a lot of time, although very pleasant. I don't want to keep you too long, so let me think of something here. Okay, so because I really want to keep playing with texture, and we're not done, there's going to be way more texture in this little journal. I will cut this. Okay, I think this fits perfectly, and I want to add something to the front and leave the back obviously open for writing. And I want to keep playing with texture just like that, so I will simply cut this. Just right here and right there. First cut is right here and right there. There we go. Of course, we keep this. And for this, I will apply, I can't find my piece. I think it's this one. Yeah, I will apply liquid glue, even if it's vellum. But what I will do, however, is I will make sure to spread the glue evenly with my finger so that I have a thin layer that will not end up wetting the vellum so much that it starts to buckle. Now, it will still try and buckle because that's what vellum does. And that's okay. I can deal with that. So I will hold it until it dries. Some of you have that spray glue. Go ahead and use it. I don't, but I found that if I spread the glue evenly with my fingers really well, it's fine on the smaller piece anyways. And look how pretty this is. I really love it. I will ink the edges of this just because I feel it needs a little something, just a bit, and not too dark. I don't know if this is too light, but this is pretty much the same color as the book page. So it has a tiny tint, not much, just enough. Oh yes, I like it. Okay. I could also go over the flowers and you will see them a little better. The embossing. Ooh. Oh, that is pretty. I'm going to keep going until I do the whole thing. Oh my gosh, it's so lovely. It makes it even better. Oh yes, there we go. That's the stuff. I'll show you in a second. I know you're a little far. I will bring you a little closer. See? You can definitely see it. It's still light, so it's still delicate and in the general feel of what I want. And you can write in the back because technically this is a journaling card. Look at this, and you see it, peeking out, so you know there's something to pull. And I love that it, yes, it's perfect. We have this paper a little bit everywhere. Now again, the front, we are not done. I will probably add, like I said, one of the cameos. I just am unsure if I want to choose the bigger, bolder one because it absolutely looks gorgeous on a small book. But I also like the idea of a small one in the corner and some kind of title to this journal, or not even a title, just like that. It looks fabulous. So because I can't make up my mind and because I do have to end the video, I think I will leave it like this. But I'm going back to this. If I could find an image to put in the middle, I might always also go with this just because it fits, but I don't know. So since I don't know, I won't glue anything. And I will wait until we make the next video. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video. I hope maybe I've given you a few ideas of what to think about when you're planning a journal / book, and to make yourself a little bit of a plan before you start cutting and gluing. It will make your journal making a lot less scary. Because a lot of you make, the pages and put the pages together, or the signatures, if you will, and then you're kind of stuck. But if you plan ahead for, pockets and windows and things that will come out of your journal and top pockets and such, it makes it a lot easier to build it and then to decorate it, because already we know we need to make a journaling card here. We know we need to make another journaling card. We also know that we have to make at least another tag, and we've added this, to which we might need to add a tiny decoration. Maybe it'll be a flower just here and the rest left for journaling. But by planning ahead, it makes it less intimidating to fill the journal, because right from the start, without adding any other decoration, you already have a few items you need to build. So you have to plan. If you can, plan. If you're good at being spontaneous, then you don't need to plan, but you still have a tiny bit of planning to do, especially where cuts and gluing and putting corners, have to be decided, and this, you know, depending on what kind of binding you want to do, you will cut your paper differently as well, because if you do a tab binding, you don't necessarily have to have folded pages. You can have all kinds of little pieces like this that you can easily bind together with the tab binding method. So, you know, and maybe go for your style right from the start and see if you have enough of that particular style. So like I said, this one will be more in the beige and creams and soft. I have plenty of that because that's my usual style anyway. I really love it. So I have plenty of items that I'll be able to use to do that exact style. But if you want to go, let's say, full grunge, and you don't have much of the grungy, maybe gather a few items before you start, because otherwise you'll get very discouraged, you know, once you've done the base and realize, oh goodness, I don't have much of grungy anything to keep going. And then you'll put your journal away while you find items, and then you guess what, a lot of us don't go back to those journals. How many of you have unfinished journals right now as we speak? Which brings me to my last subject before I leave. I do have videos on how to get yourself out of the unfinished things and how to get yourself started. I will try and link every single video I think could be of use to you in my description box. So on this, I will say I hope you're all happy, healthy, and safe. I hope you've learned something, and please give me a thumbs up. It really helps my channel grow. And this, my friends, if we love it in the end, I might use as part of a draw I will make when I reach 10,000 subscriber. Of course, there'll be other items than just this, but it'll be fun because whoever gets this journal, amongst other things, will have the pleasure of seeing how it was built. So I say thank you for watching. I give you a great big hug from here in Nova Scotia, Canada. And I say see you later. Bye. Bye-bye.